Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Coming to you at 600 hours, 54 minutes, Saturday, August 14th, 2021. That's what I was about to say, not August 20th, August 14th, 2021. This is, I wanted to say, I finally got an intro and moving up, doing better, and putting out videos, lives, and not and recordings. And it's like everybody has an intro now. So and it's ironic, like such as everyone have an intro video now. And it's like it says, well, I think I'll do one, but I already have it created. I'm gonna do it a different way. So look out for the intro video. And the title is What is Black Woman Pain? If you don't feel like listening, and once you hear this, I'm not gonna be on here long, probably about 12 to 16 minutes tops. And why I titled that? And to get to the long story short, I learned this. The any out of any person's life is to always blame someone or something for what is happening to you. As we know, we understand the circumstances of the United States of America. Isn't ironic the same circumstances go around the whole world? I'm not talking about them circumstances because people get treated different. People act different towards people based on size and stature. Here's the silliest quote I ever heard. The black women are asked, why are you more gentle with white men? The underlying statements are always negative towards our race men. But in this circumstance, she tried to butter it up and make it sound pretty. But in all actuality, I know what she was talking about. Basically, as Lundy said, she has a big platform. She even deleted her platform for a little bit because she's going to another. She didn't delete. She just moved and spread her hatred of herself and her race. Because when you call I don't want to have ashy black babies, that's what women tell her about why they want to be with their race men. And that's her response. Yes, that no longer showed me why her children that's of indigenous African descent or indigenous are having problems with their identity, why they're getting in trouble, but why her mixed kids are not with her and with so the pains, basically I'm saying, has nothing to do with you, brother. You just met her. You just seen her. She already has a stigma and stereotype about you. Why is that? Why is it that you can live in a world where all race men do evil-ish? I went to a war, went to an empty building of dead people. I only saw children and kids. That was in a Middle Eastern area. Women walk behind them. Okay, if that's not good enough, the European race conquers land and divides and conquers, and they work to divide and conquer and war, and very great at it. Warmongers. But those are considered the sweetest men in the world. If I'm a warmonger, I have the biggest adaptation to manipulate your mind. So keep believing lies. And just as the other race, they do some foul-ish, but you know what, brother? You the worst of you are. Not the individuals, the Middle Eastern, Asian, African descendant, or African, or the European, Caucasian, white male. Guess what? We're the worst. We're the worst. But if you go look at how they run their cities, how they treat their women, somehow those guys are better than you. But guess what? You are the cause of the pain of every woman of our race, according to white women in our race. But the other guys, no matter what they do to them, even if it's I have seen so many stories of black women getting killed by their Caucasian quote unquote lovers. Pakistani dude just chopped up his black African descendant from America. But this don't make the news, and they're paying. It don't get publicized. It don't get mediatized for some reason. And then, but you get mediatized right away. They pull their camera out everywhere you go. This is one of my questions. I was going to do a live, and you probably seen the title, but I never did the live. But we'll still do it. Why is it in the media you never see black officers killing little white, Asian, Hispanic, or Asian kids? And when you seeing it, guess what he's actually in? Every time I see a black officer killing a white, Asian, or Hispanic, or Puerto Rican, or Middle Eastern kid, this kid is actually shooting at the black officer. But majority of the time, when you see those other race shooting at one of our people, we're running with no weapon, and you can't find a weapon. They find a way to create a weapon was there. But remember, we are the pain of all our women. Don't matter what happens, she can get her face. I even follow a woman that hate men, but the only men that ever beat her was the men out of her race. But the men she married was the men in her race, but she went to the foreign men of our race, the African man. But at the same time, she still have a hatred for her men, but she don't hate. Hear what I'm saying? She don't have a hatred for those men, but she hates me. The man that never done nothing wrong to her, but she hates me. Are we still in this master, mammy, bedwitch, slavery mentality? Because even watching a lot of social media, as I said, my whole point on coming on social media was to talk more about things that's not being talked about, the laws. I'm gonna get, and you go watch all my videos, and within those videos, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about information that you won't hear, as in what is the new laws in your city, in your state, in your country. Nobody can't tell you that. But the latest update on some man that we never heard of who wear a suit and wear glasses, we want to cancel him for speaking his truth. But we never said cancel her, because we want her to talk, because we want to hear the indifference of what she's talking about. And within that indifference, we want to ask questions. But those people don't talk to you. But the one you want to cancel, you literally will call him, and he will give you a piece of information that should be known as common sense. But I guess sense is not common to everyone, because everyone cannot understand or comprehend. And that's the problem with a lot of pain. Your pain, I can understand. But how you speak about who hurt you in your pain, I cannot comprehend, because I cannot say my sister hurt me, then a woman outside my family hurt me, and then say my family never hurt me. But I don't have that. I'm put that there. I don't have that divide and separate spirit. And why I call it a spirit, because if I pass down, because you're not passing up, because that's something going lower, is to not talk to your family or not be around your family and not want to initiate any. All I say, if somebody don't talk to you, especially if your family, blood will always be thicker than water, because water flow. I can pour water in anything, and water can do two things. It can either evaporate or freeze, or it can stay at the liquid dies as it is. But blood will not, because blood will either just harden, because there's nothing covering it. If you pour out your blood onto something, it dries up. It's supposed to stick to it. Water will not stick, because eventually that water will evaporate. But if it sits too long in the wrong areas and not being cleaned or filtered based on if it was already clean or dirty water, because it creates mold. So if you're telling me the dried up blood that you can actually add now water to it to bring it back, Just as they do plasma, they take your plasma out of your blood, and how they bring it back, they literally add a liquid to it. It requires another substance. And that other substance, if you compare that to what I'm saying, I would never turn my back on blood. Then say liquid can go in any shape and form. And that's why but you don't give that same precedence as you do your family. I won't talk to them no more. But you will go outside, which is water, and find a new person. And you want to understand why we're having pains? You're trying to find everything outside of who you are. If anything, I said so from the beginning, starting from the beginning to end this off, your pain is predicated on how you think. And then if you go to the overall, you will go outside. You will go outside of you and find everything good about outside, but you will not talk about all the bad things outside. But if you look inside, oh, my family bad, my sister bad, so that girl that's making dinner for your husband, getting every information, and then she does that, she's bad. But that's only one lady. Isn't that how your family, isn't that only one family member? But then the sad part about why our pains is going to keep going forward, because we never dealt with them. In a few more minutes, this is how you know you never dealt with your pain. You still talk about your brother. You still talk about your sister. You're still talking about that girl. See, I notice a lot of empowerment is only based on a negative circumstance, but in that circumstance, that's all that person going off. So if I tell you, I don't care for Black women in my city, why would I tell you that? Think about that. I don't think everything I said. But you know why? Because this water is taking shape and form of whatever they poured it in. So if the people in my city only have a mindset of one thing, my city is, and then people from other cities say, yo, it really do suck in your city. To date in your city, to create business in your city sucks. Because people don't have the mindset of blood or family. It's no coincidence, no coincidence that if you go to the South where families are, they are. I'm sorry to say that. The families are together. My father's side of my family are, because they're from there, the mothers and fathers are from the South. So guess what? You hungry? Yes, I'm hungry. Do you want something to eat? Yes, here you go. Here's your plate. You want something to drink? Here's something to drink. Because you know why they're talking to that? Because they're upset. But they're trying to figure out why are they upset. But they won't take the water and go pour their feelings and pains into a thing that can fold and form and mold into any shape they want it. They take their blood and let it dry right there. And when it's time, they pour the other substance back into it that's in a liquid form to revitalize that blood. We have yet, I should have titled this, to revitalize our blood, not as why is the pain about Black women. The actual title. I shouldn't have titled that. Should have titled it The Form of Our Blood, which I'm going to rename this. Because a lot of the times, I got to understand too that what I go through, it starts off that way. But that all the time, it starts that way, but that's not what I mean. We already talk about first impressions, first chances. You don't get a second chance after so something didn't go right. That person didn't treat you bad. It didn't do you wrong. It just didn't go right. The car broke down. The tire bust. You went to the wrong place. You took the wrong turn. You went the wrong way. But that is qualified for you to give up now on that person. But you allow the water to shape and form in any way around you, then be so distraught but that's okay. Because now you can actually think about this understanding that you have. I hope the children of the future understand how the era that we lived in, the era we was in, we are learning how to get out of it. Stop teaching lies. Stop keeping information away from people do the same. Like if I'm happy about a woman I'm with, I want to report her as she's part of my happiness at this moment in my life or the time that I'm with her, the partnership, the togetherness, the bond. But no matter her race. But if I didn't do that before, I'm not gonna start doing that now. Until I'm fully at the point you say, why you didn't show her? Oh, because now I didn't do that before. But the greatest ultimate thing was I married her. She married. Now, when you get married, she married me as well. I chose her, she chose me. And sometimes it just don't work out. And if we look at some things just not working out, that's a-okay. That's okay. It hurts and you're sad. And oftentimes, I know when it didn't work out for me, I feel a certain way. But I'm not trying to move on with another person or trying to get into this new water. No, maybe I need to go work on my blood. And over the first, I was so happy when I seen my uncles at my mother's house because we was in my mother's side, and they was having such an ordeal about the family. If I died right now, I will be happy that my brothers and sisters, real life, to my mother and her brothers, our brothers and sisters, my mother and my uncles, now are talking again. If I died today, that made me happy. Because I learned something. You could be rich or poor. When we all die, we all get buried the same way. We all die the same way. We all eat the same way. We all do the same things. To get rich, this is the sad part that we have to understand. To be rich, somebody has to buy into what you're doing. There's no such thing as self-sufficient or self-made, or you pulled it out of the mud. Somebody helped you along the way, because in that mud there was a shovel, and somebody had a shovel. And when in that shuttle, somebody had a rope to pull you. See, I would never see, that's the difference. And I would never, the way I'm going to show my children, whether I adopt or have a natural or biological children, I'm going to show the young women not to hate me. But I'm also going to show them how to love themselves. So when they see them sisters, because most of our sisters don't love themselves. And when they see their brother, they're going like, man, I respect my brother. And they're going to respect those men. She also going to understand how to defend herself. In defending herself, she don't need a gun. A gun is meant to kill. A shield is meant to defend. If anybody want to ask you a real question, Grand Rising, my brother, Shalom. But I'm going to show my son not to be a quote unquote real man. I'm going to show my son how to be himself. Then I'm going to guide, and as I guide, should use that word too. So my daughter, I guide and challenge her, because I'm going to let her know that her daddy didn't always be this, wasn't always this way. He stumbled, and I'm going to let her know I stumbled. So I would never dictate to my daughter to say be with a certain type of man, because I don't know what type of man that she was going to choose, and I don't know if that man's going to seek her out and she's going to choose. Same as my son. I don't know what type of woman he's going to want, but I'm going to say, always put your best foot forward. Do your all, be your best, be you. And if you can't never do that, then you might not want to be in that crowd, which is water. And if you actually look at the word crowd, it means to fit in and try to piece together what other people are doing, and you're trying to be in their group. You're not trying to be yourself. So stay away from crowds and stay away from people that never talk about love to themselves. Because majority of the time, the hurt and the pain that you go through is because you don't love yourself. So what I say unto one, I say unto all. It's your path, it's your journey, it's your choice. Choose wisely. Thank you, Brother Slide. You have a good day, and whoever else, thank you for the family. And we're doing bigger and better. And this year, it's about focus, purpose, mission, and position. And once you become that with you, you will be the greatest version of yourself. Say la.